Hello.
Hi.
Should we introduce ourselves first today?
I guess. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I'm Brittany Chambers,
I'm Deb Floros, and
and
this
this
is
is Crimped.
Crimped.
And we will never get that in sync, but
No,
it is what it
no.
is. It's part of our
Yeah,
charm, right?
we're artists, not like, people that can
Not
do like
actors.
synchronized
Not that
speaking.
kind of artist.
Synchronized speaking. We need to take a course. If anybody's got ideas, drop them in the comments.
We need to just like film something and then sync it up automatically, like in post production, because it's
There's
never going
got
to
to be
happen.
a way. Got to be a way. Well, welcome everybody. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Deb.
We are here for episode 6. I can't believe it. It is episode 6. And we are so grateful for all of you who have hung out with us, who've watched the shows. This is a little fun, little collaborative thing that Brittany and I have been doing. It is a jewelry making talk show. We put this together a year and a half ago now, and we talked about it a lot before we did it, and nobody else was really doing anything like this. So we thought, what the heck? People have all kinds of tutorials to watch, all kinds of live, jewelry making supply sales, but no one's really doing this. So we're doing it and we're having fun with it. And we hope that we're bringing you guys some content that you enjoy. And there's one fun piece if you want to tell everybody what that is, Brittany, especially if they've never seen it before.
Well, the big fun piece is we have a challenge every month. And not only do Deb and I take part in the challenge, we challenge all of you to take part in the challenge. And we love seeing your pieces. But it's based on the Food Network show Chopped, but we've named it Crimped. In a pure stroke of genius, Deb came up with that name during one of our brainstorm sessions. And she's like, what about Crimped? And I said, yep, that's what we got to do. And we just challenge each other. Deb kind of put her foot in it this week or this month. So we'll tell you more about that. But I just wanted to put that out there. I'm never going to stop teasing Deb about this. I've been teasing her since we met up a couple weeks ago to give each other our items, and I've been teasing her since. So, but we do a challenge every month, and you can go back and see what those are. We have a crimped page on Facebook and a group where we share everything. And you can go back, see what the challenges were, see what our pieces were, and join in on the fun and make them yourselves.
Yeah, so maybe we'll leave the suspense for just a few minutes because you brought up something, Brittany. So our group, as of just a few minutes before we started filming, so this was probably filmed a few days, at least maybe 4 or 5 days before it will post. But as of this moment, we have 935 group members. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. It's so awesome in just a few months. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. So thank you all for being part of the group. Thank you for your interactions there. And we just want to bring more interaction. So we have a little something cooking for that. So we want to get to 1,000. That feels like a big wow and a big accomplishment. And so when we get to 1,000, we're going to start sort of giving you guys an opportunity to gain something from participation in challenges. So when we hand over challenges to you, we ask you to post them to the group. And, that's not hard, but not everybody's participating. And I get it. Everybody's busy, but there are we're gaining some momentum on participation. But we thought we'd give you a little incentive to participate if you haven't already, or you're a little nervous too. So when we get to 1,000, the next challenge after that, we will take everybody's name that participates in the challenge, and we're going to drop it into a random name generator. And we're going to pick somebody each month that will receive some little gifties, a little giveaway from Brittany and or myself. Maybe we'll alternate, or maybe we'll both send you something. We'll say it each month how we're going to do it. And we just want you guys to enjoy these challenges. I mean, they're fun for us, sort of. And
well,
and we want them to be fun for you. And they're just meant to, I don't know, give you some, creative time, just a way to enjoy making jewelry. It's not necessarily for a big trophy or anything like that, but just getting you into the creative zone and maybe pushing you out of your comfort zone a little bit, which I think maybe is a good segue into what we did this month. So, Brittany, you talked a little bit about what we did, but so it's my fault. Last show I was like, oh, I'm so diabolical, and I'm gonna give you this thing and you're just gonna be stumped. And when I met with her, so we sat down, she's like, oh, I already have an idea for this. I know what I'm gonna do, like immediately. And then she hands me mine, and my heart went up into my throat, like, oh no.
This is why you can't tell me that you're going to give me something horrible or diabolical is the word. Diabolical is the word that Deb used. And so I searched through my bead room. I searched through my entire house. I was like, I don't have anything diabolical. Well, I found something, and I would have gotten so much easier on her if she hadn't told me that. So she made her own bed and had to lay in it.
Yeah, I think perhaps my interpretation of the word diabolical may be questionable. I don't know.
Yeah, do you know the definition? Because what you gave me, I
thought
literally
I
told her, like, I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, I know what I'm going to do with this.
I thought I did. But yeah, so our challenges have kind of varied, but one of our first ones was this exchange of obscure things. And Brittany gave me one of, like the prescription bottle from Goldie was really it was our second challenge, but it was our first real challenge. And that was pretty diabolical, but I feel like that one worked out okay.
Yeah.
This
but
one,
you should know by now not to tell me, because I will give you something that will hurt you.
It did.
Guys, when I gave it to her, she looked at me like she was just so mad. She's like, I'm so mad. And I was like, this is a gift. Like what she gave me, I was like, this is so pretty. Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before we do another one of those mystery challenges.
Oh,
like
you're just giving me more chance to find stuff that's just nuts to give you. Then I already have 3 ideas.
Oh, dang it! All right, well, we're going to hold off at least a couple of months for that one. Like a couple. Give me a little bit of time to catch my breath from this one. Oh man. So yeah. Am I going first?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me give the backstory. So I actually have one of the items that you gave me. It's just a different color. So I wanted to be able to show people like what the item is first. And there's a little side story I'm going to give too, just to warn you. So this is what she gave me. So this is from Beads of Courage, which I'll talk about in just a minute. It is a tin box, has the message about Beads of Courage on the back. It's their origami crane, which this one actually has one in it. So this is an origami crane. It's a metal charm. It's the metal version of a paper origami crane. And so Beads of Courage is a nonprofit organization that supports children with serious illnesses. And it's all about providing them with beads along their journey, their medical journey. I'm going to drop a link to Beads of Courage in the comments. It's very special to me. So in some ways, Brittany, this was kind of like a moment of oh, like there's something, special about it because of that. But they've sold these. They've sold these at times. I looked up and they don't have them on their website right now, but they've also used them to hand out at events. In their former headquarters, which is in Tucson, they had paper origami cranes hanging from the ceiling, tons of them. And it was very beautiful. There's some story behind that as well. But Brittany handed me the tin without the crane in it. And the version was actually a red version. So I assume the crane inside was probably red. But this was the sticker that was on the top, which I peeled off. And then I peeled off the back sticker. And I'm going to just say now, I did not use the entire thing. So my original plan was to take this, the bottom, the deeper portion. Wow, that got away from me. And I was going to make it like a little bit of a shadow box, but it is so big and so huge. And I just didn't have enough time to execute it the way that I wanted to. So I did make a little bit of a video of a portion of what I did. Also just started to like get frantic about it as I was completing it. So the first part of it, I was able to video. I went outside, I took a hammer and I hammered it as flat as I could get it, but I wanted it to be organic looking. Anyway, I knew when I started to flatten it because of the edges, it wouldn't be completely flat. So
you really do not want to show this the way you've been talking.
So it's like a child's craft project.
But it's cool. Is it paint on there?
So I had some fun. So what I did was I actually Mod Podged some tissue paper onto it first. Oh, cool. And then I used this product called Magicals, which is it's a powdered, like a powdered pigment. And you can get them in several packages. No, it's dye. It's like a pigment. Oh. And it came from lindysgang.com. I can drop a link to them. They have some really interesting craft things. And I actually just got this, like probably in the last 60 days. And it's a whole set of like summery colors. And look, they kind of match our vibe. But I used that. So you shake it onto it should be something that's porous. Well, this was not as porous, but because I actually Mod Podged the paper first, which I should not have done, but you shake it on and then you spray it with water and it just kind of dissolves and pigments and all of that. Well, I layered it, and just the last color was the one that, really showed up. Then I used some vintage patina paints. I kind of dabbed some paints in there, went around the edges. Then there's some little, those little slide transfer type images. It's hard to see, but there's a little moon face right there. Cool. And then I glued on some flat back rhinestones, and there were also these fun little beads in your bag. And so I just thought those matched this perfectly. Very nice. And then I put some nun-design chain on it, and I cried all the way to sleep that night.
Stop. It's cute. Well, it matches your outfit. And I feel like it's very Betsy Johnson, very I just feel like it works. I feel like you did it. And no matter what, I think if you wear it, I know you're probably not going to wear it, but I would wear it. I think it's pretty cool.
I feel like I was channeling my inner Brenda Schwetter. If anybody knows Brenda Schwetter, she does these found objects pieces that are absolutely mind-blowing. So I want to send a picture of this to Brenda and say this is kind of an ode to her. But by the time people are seeing this, they've already seen the pieces, so there will be a close-up of this, and I actually think I am going to post the video of me hammering this out in my front yard, just because it's funny. So
it is
so
funny.
that's it. That's the piece, Brittany. Thank you.
Well, you did it. You made something. I think
I did.
You did the challenge, and I love that it's like. I just love that it's a huge plate. Like, obviously, we're both wearing statement necklaces today. I love it. So it's
right,
so funny. It's so funny because Deb just has this little smirk on her face. We met for dinner, and she's got this little smirk on her face, and she hands me a little baggie of stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, it's red. I don't usually use red." And then she's like, "Well, open it." And inside are two of these little chain things. So here is one of them. I only used one on my project, but there were two, and I saved one because I really wanted to show you what they were. And she thought it was diabolical because of the weird way, like you can't, it's not just an oval, like it's weirdly,
it's like
closed.
twisted.
Yeah, it's like twisted. So I don't know if the purpose was like originally to just use it like this or something, but you can't just like make it an oval. It looks weird. So she was like, "This is my," I was like, "Oh, thank you. This is wonderful." And she also gave me these, but I didn't end up using them. Because I don't think they were part of the challenge, right? These weren't part of the challenge. They were just.
If you need some red, because I know you don't do a lot of red. If you need some red, here's some chips that you might go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're beautiful. I love them. I love coral, but I didn't use them. So last night at 10:42, I'm sitting on my couch. I'm like, "Oh, I gotta make something." And I was like, "Oh, you can just," and I was so tired because I worked all day yesterday. And I did some stuff outside yesterday. It was hot. It was like 109 yesterday or something like that. And I was hot. I was tired. And I was like, "I gotta make this thing," because I'm a procrastinator. And we had a drop yesterday. So that's why I was working all day, a drop in my new shop. And I was like, "Okay, let's just go pick out beads and we'll wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and do it." And I just was like, "No, let's just do it." So I saw this, and here's my necklace.
Oh, so how did it so you're forcing it to not be twisted, or does it twist?
I took it apart.
Oh, and you
put bead
caps
into bead
caps.
End. And then we've got some very old clay beads, some stone beads, and some batik bone. So there's no clasp. It just kind of goes right over the head. I don't know why I did that. My hair's going to get messed up. But it's one of my new favorite necklaces. This side's a little wonky, but I love it so much.
Yes.
And it's very like old world. I'm seeing some issues with it, but I did finish it at 11:40 last night, so that's probably why there are a couple issues. And then I went immediately to bed. But it's like I love the red. I always love red and turquoise together, but the brown I've really loved red and brown lately. I have a big stack of beads together that are red and brown that I want to make something with. So I was really excited to get to use the red and brown last night. But honestly, 5 minutes in last night, the design was done. So it was very, very simple. All you have to do is kind of just peel back a couple of these in one of the circles around, and then it'll just come right apart. So now I have an extra one for some chain. It was very fun. I did not film it because it was very late. So exclusive content here.
Wow. Well, it's gorgeous. It is totally your aesthetic design.
Thank you.
And you used it in a way that was so simple that it's hard to ignore how gorgeous it is when it's just not twisted.
Yeah. Well, I think the fun thing is the second piece, I might make I'm all into making 2 second necklaces lately. So maybe I'll make a second necklace that has like a pendant or something hanging from it.
And maybe it's just that, like, that's the focal, the little twisted piece could be the focal. That's kind of what, when I got those things, that's kind of what my thought was. But I just had them set aside. Like, I don't know what I really want to do with those. And I don't know if I want to do anything with those. And so I'm glad that we did this because you took something I wasn't sure I could execute with, and I made a child's craft project.
Stop it. Stop it. Oh, and I also made a matching bracelet, but it's huge. Like, it doesn't show how huge it is
Chunky.
here, but she's chunky. Like, this
She
is like
chunky.
10 inches of beads for a 7-inch wrist because it's so large. So it was a lot of fun to make.
That's cool. Well, I love it. So I thought a lot about how are we going to give this challenge to everybody else. So we obviously can't send you all something diabolical.
Right.
That's not possible. But I think the best way, Brittany, for us to hand this over is to say, what we want you guys to do is go into your studio and find that thing. I don't know, find that thing in your studio that's sitting there that you've been wanting to use, but maybe you just don't know how to use it. Go and get that thing and make a necklace with it. So we said we wanted to do necklaces. So we're asking you guys to do a necklace, but maybe have somebody in your household go find something for you. That would be fun too. So a spouse, a kid, a grandkid, ask them to go find you something. We'll take it whatever way it comes about for you. And what we want you to do is go to the group and do a post. Tell us what the item was, so that it's obvious to us and everybody else, like, what was it that was a challenge? Why was it a challenge? And a little bit about what you did with that piece. So we like the story that goes along with it. So we hope that you'll take this challenge. And for now, there's no giveaway because we still have to get to 1,000 folks. So please invite your friends and your jewelry making friends, like, people that are actually going to enjoy this group. Right. Bring some more jewelry people over to this group and take the challenge. And you can go back and take any and all of the other challenges if you want. There's a lot of fun ones. So we'll talk about the next challenge at the end of this show. So we'll have something fun for each other to get started on when we wrap this up for today. Thanks, Brittany.
Welcome. You've learned your lesson.
I will no longer use words like diabolical. And I will just be very quiet about what we will achieve. I need a couple months break from that kind of challenge. Man. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All right. So this month, we wanted to have a topic that was maybe universal for everybody. So we had our first guest in the last show. That was amazing. We may or may not have another guest next month, maybe. And we may or may not have one the month after that, but we'll see. We'll see how it shapes up. I don't want to give too much away. I've already done it. But this topic for episode 6, we always like to have just, one, discussion point for the month. And what we wanted to talk about is, how do we build up our stash? So how do we and how can you build up your bead stash, your jewelry making supply stash? Brittany, I hear you talk about your, building a stash every week on your JTV Extra show. I'm always thinking about, how can I have things around me at all times that will help me to get projects done. So I thought it would be fun to kind of talk through that and give some tips and tricks and, have this as a discussion point. And we welcome you guys to share any, tips and tricks that you have as well. So Brittany, I'll start by asking you a question. So what's your favorite way to build up your stash, your bead stash, your jewelry supply stash? What's your favorite way to do that?
Probably, I would say two different ways. So eBay and Tucson shows. But there's a lot involved in that answer, right? So
Yeah.
I've been doing making jewelry for probably over 30 years at this point. So I know a lot about beads. I know what costs what. I know where to get what, and I know, you know, what a good deal is. And that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. The good thing for everybody watching is there's a lot of information out there, and it's free if you're really looking for it. Like, not to just plug my own channel, but I have over 900 videos, and probably 400 of them are telling you where to get beads, what's good steals, what kind of beads they are. So
Yeah.
if you really want to build your stash, start learning. So, and then you'll know what to look for, what the, is a bag of buttons for $16 a good deal? Depends on the buttons, right? Is a bag of African beads a good deal if it's $100? Probably not, but maybe there's a few pieces in there that are worth it. So those are the things that we're going to know because we've been handling beads. We know beads a lot. But I would say probably, you know, eh, also subscribe to all the bead places because they're going to tell you when they have sales, right? And then
Mhm.
you can, don't buy something just because it's an impulse buy. If you see a check glass bead that you really want, wait for it to go on sale. I do that all the time. So wait for that coupon code to come through. Those are the things that I would say.
Yeah. I think I too have learned over the years, and I actually think things have evolved too. So back when I started making jewelry and when you started making jewelry, there was no Facebook Marketplace. There weren't
Mhm.
all of these online places that you could get, mass groupings of like D-stash. There weren't D-stash groups. So there wasn't as much available and as accessible as it is now. So, back when I was getting started, I was buying beads from bead shops. Like, remember when there were actual bead shops? I mean, there still are some, but
Mhm.
there were more of them. So you had access to beads. And I bought from craft stores, and you hope you get the week get there the week that the 50% coupon comes out. And but now I feel like Tucson is my favorite way to build my stash. So I've been a wholesale buyer for a number of years, and that's one way that you can get great prices, tax free, and buy in bulk if you are a wholesaler, reseller. You'll have to look up in your state how to get yourself a resale license. It comes with some requirements. Maybe it isn't for you. But it is one way that you can go to Tucson and you can get into different shows and usually get more for your money. It also enables you to get to like some companies that have wholesale opportunities too. So for an example, Beadalon they are a wholesaler. They don't sell, they typically don't sell a lot of retail. Most of their business is wholesale. It comes with a pretty substantial minimum, so you'd have to spend a substantial minimum, but maybe you want a big supply of head pins or wire or ear wires, and you want to have that around you so that your stash of those things, you can just grab them when you need them. um, you know Vintage and Tierra Cast, which is back, by the way. They have you can sign up for wholesale accounts with them. There, minimums will apply, that kind of thing. But having a wholesale or resale license is a great way to build your stash of a lot of different things. And I think if you are making to sell, or you are just an avid, prolific maker, I know there's some of you out there, that may be something that will be worth it to you so that you have a larger stash of those kinds of things. I have several wholesale accounts. I just this last week, I got a bunch of rings from Nun Design. So I have an account with them, and I have these ring blanks. If I were to go and buy these individually, they would cost more than I'd like to spend, but I can buy a whole bunch of them, and then I can actually get a little bit out of them when I sell a ring. So that's just the kind of thing that has been helpful to me. But I know that's not really what everybody wants to do. Tucson, you can get into shows that are wholesale only. You can scoop up all the beads and run out the door and probably not have to pay tax and also get a deal on top of it. Brittany, so tell me about how you go about eBay shopping for stash builders. What do you look for? How do you do it?
What might give away all my secrets?
Well, you don't have to, but like,
no, I do. I'm kidding. I give away all my secrets on my channel. Just honestly, like it's not rocket science. Like you just need, or rocket surgery, I would say. You just need to type in what you're looking for. That you just have to know what you want. So actually, I didn't even think about this, but one of my favorite sellers on eBay had a bunch of bulk buys, and I bought a bunch. Some of them I am going to be putting in my store in the next drop in July the 13th. But this is a whole big bag of batik bone pieces. Yeah, delicious. Right? Yeah. Delicious. This is a whole bag of horn that I just kind of brought out to look through for my necklace last night, and I didn't end up using anything, but of course it's still out. So you just have to look. I like when I buy jewelry on pre-owned jewelry on eBay, I typically look for lots because you're going to find more for a better deal. So I look for wooden necklace lot, check glass lot, large bead lot. Like it's not that hard. It's just knowing what you want, but you're gonna have to spend some time weeding through the things that people are charging too much for, isn't very good deal, isn't stuff that you want, old gross beads. Like you got to be able to look through the pictures, and I've been doing this for so many years that I know just flipping through what I want. Again, it's gonna take time. It's
practice, trial and error.
Yeah. And once in a while, you find something really good on Facebook Marketplace or Mercari or something like that. I know I've gotten 2 really good $10 deals on Marketplace. One was like a huge set of vintage necklaces, and the woman's mother-in-law passed away, and she had all these beautiful wooden and bone necklaces, and I got a ton of them for $10. And then the other one was some really old African glass and shell necklaces for $10. I got 3 or 4 of them, and I had to drive like 40 or 50 minutes, but it was worth it because we have beautiful scenery here in Arizona, but it was, I was like, nobody else is going to get these deals. It's me. So, unfortunately, also on Facebook Marketplace, you have to navigate where people, are sentimentally attached to their items, and they're thinking that their beads are worth way more than they are. And maybe somebody will pay that. I know sometimes I flip through and somebody's asking $400 for 3 little cases of beads. Maybe you paid that much, but you're not going to get that much because that's not how they are. These aren't artisan beads, they're lamp work glass or whatever. They're just, they know how much they paid, and some people are looking to make some money, and that's not how you're going to do it. So just be careful that you're not overpaying. If you are overpaying or thinking you might be overpaying, go into a forum on Facebook. There are so many groups, so many forums on Facebook about beads, and say, hey, is this a good deal? You don't have to put a link to it. Just put a picture and how much somebody's charging for it.
Yeah.
Always ask a friend, phone a friend.
I'm a big eBay shopper and always have been. I mean, I buy all kinds of stuff from eBay, and I have some saved searches, and you can actually
Me too.
save those, wooden bead lot searches. You can get a text message when new ones are added. I mean, you can be notified right away so you can scoop it up.
Yeah.
I have when I started my YouTube channel, one of my plans for that channel was to give guidance around finding jewelry, both for resale and for harvesting. And so I've got a series of videos from my early days, like 2 or so years ago. I have one more that's pending, that's all around eBay, Mercari, and some other sources. I just have to finish editing that one because it's got a lot of content. As you know, Brittany, that's what takes the
Editing's
most
the
time.
worst. I
But
hate it.
some of what I talk about in that is so if you are going to purchase a big lot of things, I make myself look at every picture, every single thing in every picture, because sometimes you get enamored by, one bead. You see this bead and you're like, oh my God, I love that bead. But there's a whole lot of other things in that lot that maybe you would never use, and of course there's ways to get rid of it, but think about what you might be paying to get that one bead. Um, so that's one thing that I always make myself do, because I get really sucked in by maybe one or two or three things, but then what am I going to do with the rest of it? How am I going to, recycle that or get that out to somebody else? So that's something I force myself to do. And I also don't like the sellers that have those pictures of all this great stuff, and then they say, these are just samples of what you're
Yeah.
going to get. So, I'll share my video out when it's ready, about all of my kind of like, don't do this, do this, be careful of that, but I've had some really great finds. I think it was back during the pandemic, I found a lot of brand new in-box, in-package tools, beads, findings from JTV. And it was a 30-pound box,
Oh, wow.
all unopened stuff. It was unbelievable. That when that box arrived, I squealed and I ran out, practically accosted the UPS guy, and spilled it all out on the floor. It was amazing stuff. And I was able to share some with some friends because there were multiples of some tools and things like that. So sometimes you find that like eureka collection of things, and now you've got this stash of unbelievable extra stuff. And I kind of lean more towards trying to get more findings out of those kinds of lots. So because I go through so many things, and you probably do too, Brittany, for tutorials, head pins and things like that, like I'm going to scoop up lots of that. So if you're on eBay and somebody's bidding against you for a lot of head pins, that's probably me.
That's funny. I was gonna say, a couple things that you just said rang some bells for me. In the make sure you know what you're buying, looking at the lot and seeing. The thing is, if you see something in a lot that you really like and you're just like okay about the other stuff, just know that, are you okay paying $30 for one of the necklaces plus include the shipping, because that
Yeah.
our brains don't think about that. So am I going to pay $38 for this necklace and then like just have six other necklaces I don't really care about? The thing is, half the time there's another necklace in there that I've missed that I'm like, oh, this is cute when I get it. All of these scarab beads came from eBay, and one of those crazy, I got a crazy lot during the pandemic. It was like the most amazing, most crazy tribal beads. I got these beads. I think the back of this necklace, these red beads came, they're vintage, some, I think Indian maybe, came from
Pretty.
a lot thing on eBay. So I might not say it, but a lot of my stuff comes from there. So you
Yeah.
just gotta
Yeah.
take your time.
Yeah. And some of it is trial and error. I mean, I did get a lot once. And I knew it was more like used things, but when I got it, I opened up the box and I nearly lost it because it smelled so heavily of cigarette smoke. I mean, I'm allergic to cigarette smoke, so
Oh,
I had to bring the box outside. Some of it wasn't salvageable, and I spent about $50 for this stuff, and she had a non-return policy. So, it's some trial and error of things.
that
Some
happened to
some
me. One smelled like cat urine. Like it was
Oh,
like it must have been it must, and I don't think it was just smelled like it. It must have been stored. She told me she stored it in the garage. I think it also smelled like smoke, and her husband smoked out there, and her cat was, marking, and it was a
oh,
whole thing of seed beads. And the videos on my channel, and the whole time I'm in the channel, I'm like, this is horrible. I had to wash all of these beads, and I actually put it in my feedback. I never leave negative feedback, even if I don't like it. I never do, but
yeah,
that was like a health issue, and it was not
yeah,
disclosed, and she wrote me in a letter saying she was so embarrassed, and she refunded me. But you also like have to think about the person if you're selling, think about the person
yeah,
receiving it. Like that is
yeah,
not just a health issue. Deb said she's allergic to I'm allergic to cats. You're allergic to smoke. Nobody wants to deal with something like that. So that is the biohazard
yeah,
of
yes,
eBay. There's always a smell associated with older beads like that. I can't even, like, that thrift store smell. So
yeah, yeah.
if you have a faint, weak heart, don't do it. A weak stomach, don't do it.
Yeah, there's all those kinds of like buyer beware things. I thought maybe Brittany, we could even put like a little list together, but I've also purchased, like we've talked about buying jewelry
Mhm.
to take apart. We had a show where we focused on that a couple of shows back. But I also buy like craft boxes and jewelry craft boxes from Shop Goodwill, America's Thrift. I've done that many times. I've got a few boxes in my garage that I haven't even completely gone through, but lots of pieces and parts. And those you don't really get great pictures of.
Mhm.
Typically, some Shop Goodwill's gotten much better with their website. You can do auctions through them. You can also buy blue boxes. They release on Fridays, so you can get on their email list. And I think at 6 p.m., I think Eastern, and they release an email and they only have so many boxes. And if you get one, great. America's Thrift does that too now. I forget what day they do their release, but you can get on their email distribution. So, yeah. And Brittany, just the very obvious thing you said in the beginning, sales. And I also am a big fan of a lot of the de-stash groups that are out on Facebook. Some de-stashers are de-stashing literal things that they have in their studio that they just don't want anymore. Some of them have morphed into their buying wholesale and reselling to you. And some of them specialize more in check glass. Some of them specialize more in gemstones. Some of them have some really weird and interesting things. So I'm sure that all of you know some groups out there. Feel free to share the groups with folks that are in the group, and tell them in the comments if you've got some favorites. There's a lot of really good ones out there. But again, beware of look at the pictures, beware of what you're buying, and, take advantage of as many opportunities to pick up those unique things in those kinds of environments, because it's the unique stuff that, nobody else is going to have. So if you find something interesting in those places, and if there are auctions, I'm probably bidding against you there too. um, I just love I love the hunt. And I think that's part of the allure of, going out to these places, the eBays and the Mercaris and these de-stash groups, finding those treasures that, you can put into a piece of jewelry. So
Exactly.
anything else on like building stash, Brittany?
Mm. Well, that's one of the things, like you said, I say a lot on my JTV show, Bead Break with Brittany. So it's literally bead is in the name of the show. We love beads. So I like to feature a lot of things there. You get a lot in
Yes.
one item. So watching your favorite um, lives, and Deb has her lives. You were on Mondays, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm on Sunday, Deb's on Monday. We showcase beads that we like, beads that we use. Mine is I show a lot of stash builders. Deb shows a lot of really cool, interesting little things that she picks up. So watch your favorite people. I'm not just plugging us, but there are tons of other people who are doing lives, and they're showing you their favorites and ways to build your stashes there too. So,
Yeah.
um, a lot the internet has made beads so accessible that I hate to just plug big box craft stores, but some people, that's all they have near them,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
just sign up for all of their communications. If they're having a slow week, they will change their sales during the middle of the week. I promise you, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for those, and it especially happens at Christmas time. Be on the lookout. They send out, rewards. Make sure you're scanning your barcode every time you go to Joann's or Michael's, because you're going to get some money back.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're signed up again for their emails. And something that maybe not everybody does, maybe you have a cash rewards credit card or something. Use that balance to use on beads. So make
Yeah.
the beads work for you. So that's the way
Yes.
I do it. Lots of different ways.
The only other thing I might suggest, as so if you think about, if you can't have a large quantity of beads, but you want to make your beads go longer, be able to, have, be able to make multiple things with a strand of beads, is you can use seed beads and spacer beads, and you can do macrame to spread out the beads. So if you buy a really special strand of beads and it costs you, more than you probably wanted to spend, you can stretch them out by adding to them. So maybe don't just string up the whole strand of beads, but break it up with some fun things, mix up the beads like what you're wearing, Brittany. You've probably got some beads on there that were just a couple from a strand. So,
Mhm.
that's another
Yeah, or
way
the more
to,
expensive beads, like
yeah.
the carved Egyptian scarabs. Like I wanted a whole necklace of those, but that would run through my entire stash of them.
Yeah. So, if you think about, so you make something and then you put the rest in your stash. So you've got it stashed away to be used for something else later. So that's a way that you can make your own stash, spread out a little bit. And, maybe you can't go buy wholesale, or you don't want to spend, the amount that it would take to get lots of jewelry, but or lots of jewelry supplies, but you can stretch your own stash. And last thing is, you can cut up pieces that you've already made that you're not wearing. And we talked a lot about that in one of our episodes a couple of months back. So
Hmm.
stretching that stash, keeping the stash available, keeping all the pretty things around us to make jewelry with. So
Yeah.
we could probably
Good
talk
talk.
about this
Good
like,
talk. I know.
I
I'm
know.
like, how many more things can I talk about? Like yard sales. Go to yard sales. Go to
Yes.
estate sales.
Yes. Oh my
Necklaces are
gosh.
like $1 there.
Yes, that is another great thing. Just, you never know what you're going to find if you get out to a yard sale, a tag sale, a garage sale, whatever it's called in your geographic area. Check those out. Estate sales, and all the places that are selling things, even like Poshmark. I've occasionally found bags of beads and things there. So just do your searches, and save your searches, because a lot of these online sources, you can save your search. Mercari, eBay, Poshmark, all of those places, you can save your search, and you can get alerts for them.
Mhm.
So if you're wanting to build that stash and you want to be the first to get some of those things, set some alerts for yourself, and you'll be able
Get up
to.
at 3 o'clock in the morning so Deb's not around.
I don't buy as much as I used to, like the
Same.
big
I go in spurts.
boxes.
I go in
Yeah,
spurts. Like I won't be on eBay, but then I'll buy like 10 things on eBay, and
yeah.
then I'll forget about eBay again. So as you can see by the bags, that's those 2 bags that I held up was just a couple pieces from what I got recently.
Tiny fraction. Yes. Yes, we both have overflowing situations going on.
Well, we're bead collectors, not
We
hoarders.
are. We
Not a
are.
sickness.
And we make a lot. I mean,
We
I
do.
know I make every single day. I mean, so I'm
Oh, I
using
wish.
stuff every single day.
I wish.
So yeah, someday, Brittany, you'll be able to make every day and a lot every day. Gotta like win the lottery so you can get rid of that day job. Get it out of
Yeah,
there.
yeah. We love the day job because she helps us, live in this beautiful house, but
Yes, yes.
we would like
And
to
health
retire.
insurance. And there's health insurance too.
Yeah, and health insurance, that's the big one.
Yes, yes. Oh, well,
So Deb, what are you obsessed with right now?
for those that that follow me in all of the places that I might be periodically, I've made a lot of anklets lately.
Oh,
So
really? Huh.
So I was asked to make one for one of the companies that I work with, um, and so I made a pretty little colorful, very reminiscent
Where
of
are they?
Pride Month. This was a Jesse James beads tutorial. I just thought this was so much fun. I love an anklet. Here in Arizona, we could probably wear anklets like 10 months out of the year. But
Yeah.
for those who can't wear, like who don't live in a warm place, you got to wear them while you can. So this is the time. I made a couple on my art beads show. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Little check glass and some silver accents. I loved making those. And then a project just went up for Starman beads, and I did a little mermaid and kind of sea
Yeah.
foam colors with a little extender chain on it. So I'm really obsessed, and I've been wearing them too because I like to wear an anklet. I know not everybody does, but I think it's just kind of fun. And even if you
Hmm.
just wear it like on your vacation or a night out with your friends, it's just a little bit of extra thing. So I'm pretty obsessed with anklets right now. What are you
That's
obsessed with
cute.
right
That's cute. I haven't made an anklet. I think I only have one anklet tutorial on my channel from Jesse James Beads a couple years ago. I might have to steal that and make one soon because now I'm inspired. Thank you for the inspiration, Deb.
now? Yay.
Um, what am I obsessed with? I don't know. I think I've been really obsessed with bone beads lately, as and horn, as evidenced by the big bags that I just held up. Um, Polymer
That's a good.
clay. I've been making stuff, but I'm not like that's more work right now that I'm thinking. Big beads, big bold pieces is what I'm super into right now. Sometimes I like dainty stuff, but right now my eyes are always drawn to those huge pieces, but not like just big like this, but big like that big thing that Deb's wearing now. I'm really into that. So I think that's what everything that I'm seeing, I'm like, oh, I need that, I need that. I want this big thing. I want these big beads. This bracelet where I made this huge hunk. Like this bead is enormous. I
It
don't
is.
think you guys can really tell how big it is. This is a chunky, heavy bracelet, and I want more. I want
Go big or go home.
yeah, we're doing chonky over here right now. And
I've
colorful.
always been about the big chunky beads.
Hmm.
I feel like they haven't been as popular, but I feel like as a force, we could bring them all back,
Oh,
like
I'm never
all.
leaving. Never
No,
leaving.
I'm never stopping. Like it's
Right.
not going to stop me, but I think we should, encourage our followers here to get out and make some big chunky jewelry too. Maybe that could be an upcoming challenge. Is a chunky jewelry challenge.
Love that. I think the one I just posted the tutorial for this last night. So this one's chunky, and then that one where I did the our recycled challenge, that one was really chunky. So I have a lot of chunky stuff on my channel. I have a lot of more dainty stuff too. But the really fun part is layering. So if you have a really chunky necklace, maybe a little tiny paperclip chain with it, or a small strand of pearls or something. So it doesn't always have to be so massive. But I think it also is part of where we live, Deb. We see bigger, more statement pieces because down here in Southwest, people love their silver, love their turquoise, love their copper, and we're seeing huge pieces. You just go to the store and people are wearing these big things. So it's more the culture here too, and I think that's why we really love it.
Yeah. And I think you could also say you're a little obsessed with the layering thing too, because you have
Yes.
been doing a lot of sets of necklaces, 2 or 3
Yeah, I
necklaces.
can't remember. It was one of my viewers. It was either, I think her name was either Joyce or Judy, because I have a Joyce and a Judy, and she's like, I love making a second necklace. It's exactly the same but shorter, and I'm like, where have you been all my life? And so I haven't been making the exact same necklace shorter, but I've been making something that's very
Matching,
similar. And I'll show you
coordinating.
my favorite piece next is kind of the same thing as what I made last week on JTV Extra. So moving on to that, what is your favorite design since our last episode?
Well, I haven't shared these out. I need to make a little video of these. I don't know. These are some really
Oh
fun
gosh,
earrings
cute, cute,
using
cute
little check. The little check. I
flowers.
can't think of the name of these flowers. I think they're lotus flowers, kind of closed lotus flowers.
That
And
is
then
so
I
cute.
had these fun components that I don't know. I am crazy about the flower beads. And I think that was maybe one of my obsessions last month.
Yes.
So I started to play around with them with some interesting different things. So I'm crazy about these. I think these are a favorite. There's one in my studio that I can't share that I made just in this last week. And I love that too. So maybe I'll squeak that in next month if something else doesn't slide into that favorite spot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I did not bring the pair of earrings that I'm kind of obsessed with. And I'm so obsessed with them that I changed out my ball earrings for them to wear one day. I wore them when we had dinner, but this is I have this set that I made last week on JTV Extra, and I actually wore it the same day. So it was using sodalite and lapis, and those are usually colors that I associate with Deb. But I made this beaded chain. So I don't know if you could see the beaded chain. So we've got lapis here with some bead caps and some crystals, and then the sodalite. And I put it all together with oval jump rings from Beadalon. And then I just, from my stash, had this cute little pendant, very lightweight. And then I used seed beads at the bottom to make a little wire thing, and then hung one of the lapis pieces there. So there's one of the necklaces. Love this. And it's so easy and light to wear. I just put it on with a t-shirt. And then here's the layering piece that I actually could wear by itself as well. Hold on, let me close it up. And this is just the lapis so it's 4 millimeter lapis with some 8 millimeter dangles, and I think there's a 10 millimeter in the middle. So it's just a cute little layering piece that goes
Yeah.
right inside of here, and
Well,
they look so good together. And then I put the bracelet on. I was like, where's the bracelet? And then a matching cute little stretchy bracelet just with a sodalite in the middle, and then
beautiful.
lapis, 10 millimeter lapis around the sides. So super easy set to wear, but I can wear it in so many different ways. I can stack the bracelet with another set. I can stack the necklaces with different sets. And
Yeah.
you know me, I love blue, so there's got to be something else in my jewelry collection that'll go with that.
Yeah. I think your official obsession is the layering thing.
Layering, yeah. I think that's too, because every time I go out now, I put 2 necklaces on at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, we are talking today. So let's get to the challenge for us for the next show, and it will be something just a little more prescribed. So when we did our little teaser challenge in the beginning, back in December, I think it was. We just put out a quick challenge. Like we didn't do a full show, but we wanted to do a challenge just to kind of get everybody warmed up for what we were going to be doing. We were very like specific. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And so we're going to do another one of those, which I think will be kind of fun for everybody else when we turn it over next month. So the episode 6 challenge, which we will reveal in episode 7, is a double-stranded bracelet. We must use at least one connector, use a wood element or elements, and you have to use at least 3 different beads. So I think that sounds fun. I haven't done as many multi-strand bracelets in a while, so I'm kind of looking forward to putting something together multi-strand. And I love connectors. That's one of the things I really enjoy. And I love wood beads. So I think, or wood components, something wood related. So I'm excited about this one. I think this will be fun.
The funny thing is I've made several double strand or multi-strand bracelets. I can count at least 4 that I've made in the last month or so. So
Oh my gosh.
Sam's bead box was the 4-strand leather bracelet. I did
Oh,
one on my
yeah.
I've done like 2 or 3 on my JTV show, and then I did one with my Zuni bear, the sun stamped Zuni bear. So I'm up for it. I love bracelets. Yeah. I have hundreds. I want hundreds more. So
yes. Well, and I think we'll add our own little twists to these things, obviously. But I think too, when we do it and turn it over to everybody else, this is a really manageable one. Whereas maybe you don't want a craft project. Maybe you want something.
You can't take the heat. Don't issue the challenge.
Yes. But I think this one will be really kind of fun for us and for everybody else. So one more thing, Brittany, I thought we should mention is you and I are going to be together for the Jesse James Bead Summer Camp coming up.
I have my project sitting right here too, so I'll just plug that really quickly. Sarah James challenged me to do a chunky macrame project. So we are going to be using paracord to make this big, and it's like not showing up really well in the photos, but it's like huge. It's really fun. We're learning just a regular square knot, but this is a different knot that I've never done on camera before. So tune in, check it out. Deb, do you have your project near you?
I don't. So my project is, I'm still waiting on materials for mine. Ooh, so okay. When you go to jessijamesbeads.com and you pull up events and pull up summer camp, you'll see there are a few pictures that don't exist, but sketches. So mine is a sketch still. And I believe the materials are pretty much all done. I just don't know when I'll have them in my hands, but my project is going to be all about taking a night hike. And I'm excited about that. If you guys have not participated in the Jesse James Bead Summer Camp, it's really special, really fun. Lots of projects, typically spread out over the course of a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And you'll get, all kinds of different fun things. There's usually a seed bead project, and then something like what Brittany's doing, a macrame fun thing, and some bracelets, some necklaces, some wire projects. It's fantastic. And you get this giant bag of goodies delivered to your house in advance. And those are all the things that you'll use in the project. You usually have a few things left over, stash builder. So I forget the dates. I think it starts the 29th.
Yeah, my class is on the 31st.
Mine's the 29th because I leave the next morning for Bead Fest. So I had to have the first day because the classes are all overlapping. But yeah, so it's go check it out. We'll leave a link for that too in the comments. So you guys can go check it out. I know there's still availability for that, but we'll be together, not together, but in the same event, just different days, different projects. So
yep,
that's fun.
For that. I can't wait to see everybody's stuff.
No, it's going to be a good one. What else, Brittany? Anything else we should tell them before we sign off for this episode?
No, I had a ton of fun. Um, I think we had a jam-packed show. But
More
honestly, if you ever have questions, please leave them on wherever you're watching this. If it's the group, the page, my YouTube channel, wherever you're watching the show, just leave a comment and we will try and get back to you.
Yeah. And thank you guys again for supporting our Crimped jewelry series, for watching the show. If you've got ideas for things you'd like to see, topics you'd like us to talk about, please share that with us as well. We'll have some content throughout the course of the month. And next month, we've got a fun show planned. I think they're going to like that one. So again, you guys, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you for episode 7.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.